Now live in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Ohio, Montana, Idaho, Oregon, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Go to hardafseltzer.com today, click on the store locator, and enter your city or zip to find the closest location nearest you.
We are gold for energy! Send it!
Incoming!
Put the money in the bag, man!
As I said, your paycheck is your thank you.
What's going on back there? This is awesome! Welcome to Earth! No! Who's flying the plane? Get cockpit! Go! God!
Black Rifle Energy, dropping near you.
Welcome to Drinkin, Bro. Yeah, welcome to Drinkin' Bros. Fake news, everybody. Bringing you the realest, fakest news of the week. Man, I'm amped, Anthony. I'm amped for tomorrow. We pre-recorded an interview with our boy, dude. Our boy right behind me. Noah Kaniga will be on the show tomorrow. Round of applause. We got him, dude. We got him. Great kid, by the way. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and his beef fry, Hunter Mecom as well. That's his real name.
It is.
Which is how they met, but probably not why they became friends. They seem to get along well. So
yeah,
just a coincidence, I'm sure.
What a really fucking cool set of dudes, man. Considering the circumstances. We went into all of it, too. It was one of those things where they're covering college football playoffs, so we had to pre-record it because the games are actually tonight, which is unusual. Bob, have they ever done that before on a Thursday and Friday?
Top of my head, I don't know.
I don't think so. So, yeah, we had to pre-record it because they're doing a gig there, but Noah Kaniga was nice enough for it to come on the show. We had a fucking blast with those guys, and that'll air tomorrow. Also, on drinkinbros.com, we got the Bro Box. Got until the 16th. Brandon says if you want that Rambo box that we just shipped out, that's one of my favorites, and then stick around for Black History Month. It's one of the craziest boxes of all time, and super, super proud. Just a big pat on the back for that one. Can't tell you what it is, but let's just say the racism's it's at the level it needs to be, I think, for everybody all involved for the show for the last 11 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you're welcome. Sign up for the Bro Box if you're out there. We appreciate it. D'Anthony, top story here, potentially, is Ayatollah Khomeini. Are his days numbered in Iran? Now, we've heard ins and outs of kind of some civil unrests, maybe some cities taken over. We can't really confirm that by the people themselves. Obviously, we chatted about this throughout the week, that it needs to come from the people, and maybe a little nudge from a couple countries here and there. What are you hearing right now?
So, Bob, go to Twitter and just search for Tehran. But this has been going on across the country. I think 26 provinces in Iran right now are having some kind of dust up. I've seen 3 different provinces where the police have joined the protests. I've seen a number of other ones where they've left entirely. In the major cities, the IRGC, Republican Guard, have come in instead of police. So it's more of a military activity now. And the last I heard, the first government building was set on fire in Tehran when I say tonight, I mean right now, because it's nighttime
Okay.
in Iran right now. I'm sure there's video of that. Bob, if you want to play that.
Here's the protesting first.
Yeah, let's see this video. Because it's been hard to get footage here and there.
They shut off the internet in Iran.
Yeah, I know they did, and we talked about getting Elon Musk to put up a Starlink for it. I don't know where he's at with that.
According to OSINT 613 on Twitter, open source intel guy, that we pass information back and forth between my org and that group. Sometimes Iran's internet has been shut down as of this morning, their time, so like last night for us. And Elon has not made it public, but he has enabled Starlink for protesters because it's active there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's how we're getting
this footage right here? Okay.
I doubt Starlink or any of Elon's companies does a whole lot of business in Iran, so he doesn't really give a shit about blowback there.
Is this when they're lighting on fire, Bob? Play this video.
Yeah, so they're lighting cars and government buildings on fire now.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so in response to this, as I mentioned, it's turned from a police action into a military action. And not just the IRGC, but foreign military operators are kind of pouring into Iran right now. Hezbollah coming through Iraq via Syria.
Okay.
And then, of course, what the news media is referring to as the Iraqi militia, what it actually is Jaish al-Mahdi, the Mahdi army, which is the Shia army controlled by Muqtada al-Sadr that operates in the Baghdad area primarily. Excuse me. And then just a variety of Quds Force linked fighters, people that are in different areas that may have trained Hamas, trained Hezbollah, trained Houthi, etc., are pouring across the border right now. I'm also hearing reports that the U.S. is planning to launch some airstrikes. Well, it said forces, so I don't know if that means Israel or the U.S. directly, but I expect that that's what that's in response to. They're going to build a perimeter around these cities with ordnance to keep these assholes out of there. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
It has the added benefit of degrading military capability of these groups as they're just throwing dudes into the meat grinder. They'll stop, right? The guys that operate on the periphery are not true believers. The guys at the training camps, they're let's call them middle management. They're not suicide bombers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they probably flip-flop, right?
Well, they care about staying alive. And then, in addition to that, the Basij and Revolutionary Guard obviously were built to crush internal dissent. That's kind of their job. But the fact that they're having to bring in the IRGC, the more tactical units, and have foreign fighters come across is pretty good evidence that it's getting out of hand. Like I think it's grown beyond the Iranian government's ability to contain at this point. So Lebanese, Hezbollah is making their way over. Probably some from the outskirts of Syria who were involved in trying to go after that guy, that new Al-Qaeda guy who was in charge there. And then, of course, Jaish al-Mahdi would be pouring over as well. But the good news for the area, I suppose, is that there's a lot of Kurdish people. And I think 2 of the first 3 cities that got overthrown were by Kurds, which is not shocking because they like to fight. So we'll see how it all goes. It's progressing it's progressing very quickly right now. Yesterday, the head of Iran's military threatened preemptive action against the U.S., actually, over Trump saying that he would intervene if Iran started killing civilians and shit during these protests. Trump said he would do something about it. And the guy said that we'll launch a preemptive attack if you try to do that. They won't. Can't, actually, is a better way to put it. The closest thing to them that would be relevant to us are Saudi oil fields that they could target with tactical weapons. But the Kingdom of Saud would be the end of Iran at that point. Like, I don't even know if Reza Pahlavi would be able to take it over after that, because Saudi Arabia would level that fucking place.
Well, obviously these images are real, and we have to ask the question because it's Twitter and AI and all this other shit these days. if these images are real, it doesn't look like they have much of a military, because you would have quelled this at this point. And usually they do, but the uprisings in the past have kind of been, here and there. They're able to stomp it out and then move on. And this one seems like it actually might take. I'll ask the obvious question: is the U.S. going to get involved?
Depends on what you mean by involved, because we've already been involved.
Couple bombs to help pick this up a little bit, knock out some bases, knock out some weapons, the fun stuff.
Yeah, I think right now we don't really have to worry about Iran's air defense, as we found out when we blew up their shit before. We were in and out before they even sounded the alarm. Like, we were literally on the way home.
Oh, yeah,
by the time they figured out what was going on. So they're even less prepared than Venezuela was, and we were able to fly in on Chinooks and Blackhawks, snatch their leader out of bed, and fucking be out of there before they could do anything about it in less than half an hour, right? Mm-hmm. So that, I'm just thinking from the support that we would give, which is primarily air and intelligence support, that one's off. We don't need that. We don't need to go in and blow up infrastructure that's air defense. Do we need to blow up munitions depots so they can't restock? Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Do we need to blow up? Do we need to blow up any kind of supply lines to the government? Maybe. Do we need to use ordnance to create a perimeter around these protest cities so that foreign fighters can't get in? I think that's probably a good idea as well. I don't know to what degree Israel gets involved in this. I mean, because obviously there's a lot of ways it can go. Just because there's an uprising right now doesn't mean that the good guys are going to win. And it also doesn't mean if the current bad guys lose that worse guys don't take over. Okay? That's what happened in Afghanistan back in the 80s. So
who's in line then if they do clip the Ayatollah?
Well, the guy that has the best claim is Reza Pahlavi. He's the crown prince. So his dad is the one that was deposed as Shah back in the day. Shah means king. Mm-hmm. He would become the king in a perfect world, I think. I don't know. That all depend on the Iranian generals that are left. So you have there are levels to this shit when you're talking about primary and secondary agents. If you're working on an agent, and when I say agent, I mean a person inside of a foreign government that is your guy. So Israel has a lot of those in the Iranian government, and they pay them a lot of money. Are your primary agents able to create secondary agents, which is a guy that's taking orders on that behalf, right? Or in the inverse, a secondary agent is like a family member of the general who you can compromise and then get him to play along. It's either one of those, right? Excuse me. So will you be able to marshal enough internal military support in Iran the way that they did in Egypt, right? And that had nothing to do with us. Egypt, the military took over. The military fucking deposed all the leaders there, kicked the Muslim Brotherhood out of the country, which it was long overdue because the UAE, Saudi Arabia, everybody else had done it back in the 90s. Kicked all the Muslim Brotherhood dum-dums out of the country and took it over, right? That would be a good scenario. If the military can realize what time it is, and again, you're going to have levels of this. You're going to have people that wanted this to happen. You're going to have people that are okay with it happening, and you're going to have people that are realizing that it's going to happen no matter what they do. And that last group is the most important because you need them to fall in line. You need them to fall in line, or you got to kill them, right? Or depose them, or kick them out of the country, or whatever. So, if you get enough of all three of those levels, then you can really quickly stabilize the country because the military in a large way through fear and intimidation controls that country, and you could change it from a fear and intimidation tactic in the country by the military to a legitimate military who's working on behalf of restoring a representative form of government in the country, right? And then Reza Pahlavi can just come right in and be like, hey, good to see you guys again, right?
Yeah. And when you talk about a perfect world, is that going back to what it was in the 70s before we fucked it all up?
Yeah.
Where women are actually just able to walk the streets and not be covered head to toe and do all the fun shit, or no?
Well, that'll depend on them. I mean, I know Reza Pahlavi doesn't believe in that shit because his daughter is pretty openly fucking Western. But I think politics is downstream of culture, right? And one of the things we're seeing in a lot of these protests are women taking off their hijabs and burning them, which is like, this isn't the 1970s, 60s, and 70s in America where you're burning your bra and dudes are driving by in Buicks and we're like, oh, you stupid bitch. Right. No, this is like they get out of the car and stone you to death for that, right? So, you know, I feel like there's probably going to be, whenever a revolutionary period happens in a place like this, there's a back and forth. You know what I mean? Like it goes, it quickly escalates. When I say like cultural liberalism quickly escalates, and then people are like, well, wait a minute, you're not doing that. You know what I mean? And then there's a negotiation, sometimes violently, between people back and forth. Usually in strong governments, the government gets involved, enforces whatever rules they deem fit, and then goes really hard after people who engage in like vigilantism and stuff. Not even because they don't agree with the point of the vigilante, but because that shit can't happen. Like the rule of law has to be first, not random assholes stoning people. So yeah, it's like a whole, it's very complex. And just to assume that it's all going to work out okay, and same thing with Venezuela, by the way. It is a very smart move by Trump, for sure. And we're already seeing the dividends of it. We'll talk about the economy and oil and shit like that later in the show. But still incredibly risky because it could go fucking sideways.
Yeah, and you know, the thing in Minneapolis obviously happened yesterday, so people have kind of, the left, not people, the left has kind of backed off the Maduro thing of like, you can't just snatch people out of their homes, violent dictators and all that other shit.
Well, not only can we, but we did.
We did.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the next thing. So that's why I was asking about the U.S. involvement. If we do end up dropping bombs there and just helping out a little bit. Because they bitched the last time. The left bitched the last time. When we, what was it, 3 bombs on their nuke facilities?
We dropped a number of ordnance.
Okay.
3 facilities. But
3 facilities.
Yeah.
They bitched about that as well. This would be actually helping topple the country. In my opinion, and I could be wrong on this because, you know, I'm a Republican and I'm fucking jaded on it, I guess. But in my opinion, we did a good thing for the country of Venezuela. People are celebrating still to this day. It's been a week. They've been fucking partying. They're outside the courtroom when he was arraigned partying and all that other shit. I would think we would be fixing the fucking problem that we created. Therefore, people would be amped about this, so they would have more freedom. But
Yeah.
I still think the left would bitch about this.
Well, Persians have a pretty good culture. They're like capitalistic by nature. I don't know if you've noticed, but anytime a Persian finds themselves in the West, they don't like get radical and shit. They grow chest hair and gold chains. And it's, look, a little outside of my fucking style guide, to be fair, you know? Although I do have this turban that'll make its
There you
way
go.
onto the show next week. It's a little outside of my style guide, but if you know any like Iranian people that live in the U.S., we have friends that own WTF over on the east side. Their dad was a government employee under the Shah back before he was deposed in the 70s. Their uncle, excuse me. All of them that come here just start businesses.
Yes.
They all start business. So I'm like,
They're all pretty fucking cool. Like I was friends with some dudes out in L.A. and they're all pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I love Iranian people. They're super chill. They like to. They're very capitalist by nature.
Yes.
And the fact that this fucking leftist socialist bullshit was used by the Islamists to take over their country just fucked them over so hard. It fucked them over so hard. So I'm glad that a lot of this stuff is going on. I'm hoping that they can push it over the edge. I believe they can. We'll see.
I'm hopeful. This one I would actually love to see happen simply because we created this mess. And if we can help them get out of it at this point, we kind of owe them for fucking them over for the last 4
We
years.
have, as Natasha Romanoff would say, we have red in our ledger right now. That's one of the biggest. There's two foreign policy mistakes that we've made in America over the past 100 years. One was the 2 times we got involved in Iran and shouldn't have, and the third one was Clinton allowing China into the WTO with no strings. The vast majority of all of our problems right now stem from those 3, I guess, 2.5 decisions. Let's call it that. And if we could correct one of them, that'd be great. because it corrects two problems at one. And then, of course, we're working on the China thing now. We're dismantling BRICS. We'll talk about that more in the show as well.
Yeah, I hate to say it's an exciting time, but it feels like, God damn it, man, if this were to go well and Iran gets their country back, and then it's with Venezuela and all that other shit, what a massive sweeping change across the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, the more people that are able to have some form of representative government, the better, I think, because it creates meritocracies. It also opens things up for other issues, but it creates more meritocracy, which means you typically get better ideas, and especially in a flat world as we're in today. When I say flat, I mean communication-wise, because you can communicate instantaneously all over the world. A country like Iran can look to the U.S. and see what we're doing well and see what we're not doing well. Russia did this. They looked into the U.S. and saw what we were doing well and what we weren't doing well. And they were like, you know what? We're going to go full-blown social conservative now because people respond well to it. Mm-hmm. Even though we're doing all this stupid authoritarian and dumb, really dumb military and economic stuff, people, by and large, respond really well to social conservatism. So we're going to do that. That was a smart move on their part. Iran can do the same thing, right? Saudi Arabia did it.
Yeah.
They did it sometime in like the 2008 to 2010 time period. They started that shift, and it was because of MBS. But it's it's very smart of them. The problem is that, like I said earlier in the week, you have to earn liberty. And it's not just like in a moral sense you don't deserve it. It's that if you don't go through the processes of chipping away at the bad answers to questions, then you don't understand why they're bad answers. You can learn a lot from history books, but people typically learn more from doing than they do from reading. And especially ancient cultures like this are going to have to try and fail a few times. Not necessarily their government's going to collapse, but they have to try we're going to let this happen for a little while. And, that didn't work, so we're going to try this. It even happened in the U.S. As I mentioned many times, we tried the Articles of Confederation for a while. It was an abject failure, so we had to go to a constitutional republic. This is the way it was. And it worked out for us, right? Obviously. That's the same process that everybody else has to go through. Now, the United States, despite having a fucking full-blown civil war 100 years into its existence, less than rather, has operated at a much higher level than most constitutional republics and significantly longer than any other one in history because of how well our Constitution was written. So that shit's really important to have a core set of ideas that are beyond reproach, and the conversation is between conservatives and liberals about how to best achieve that goal and not what the goal is. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that, then you can't start a country.
And the other part that I like about this, if this were to happen, and if this actually goes down, is Trump himself is just a businessman at heart. This would just be good business. Obviously, the oil and everything else in Iran, and then giving back to people. But the more and more these countries are normalized, and that you could actually do business deals with, is good for everyone in the world. Yeah. I don't understand. Well, I mean, I guess the people in power. They want to keep these people at bay, but the rest of us, hey man, it'd be rad to go and party in Iran and see everybody having a good time and all that other shit, because they are good people. Whereas I look at Somalia, and I don't think there's any hope ever in our lifetime or the next of that fucking country ever changing or them not being retarded.
Well, we'll talk about that today too.
Yeah.
Because Somalia is not going to exist much longer.
You think so? Mm-hmm. Really? All right. Shit.
I would say 5 years tops.
How? If we're talking about it later, Dan writes the news. By the way, I'm not wearing a gaudy gold watch. It's a Casio. It's the old school Casio from the '80s. It's painted on and it's rubberized, which is nice. Shout out to G-Shock for this. Not a sponsor. I wish you were though. Come on the show. Next up, shit. Well, you want to get to the Russian oil one then?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Because we got a fucking big show here today. President Donald Trump will allow a bipartisan sanction bill targeting countries doing business with Russia to move forward in Congress, and it could be put to vote as early as next week. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said on Wednesday. So that's what he was doing on Air Force One. Okay. All right. I fucking hate Lindsey Graham, but the bill would reportedly allow for 500% U.S. tariffs on any country that buys Russian oil, gas, uranium, and other raw materials. That includes India and China and all of Europe. Graham said in a statement Trump had greenlit the legislation after the pair met on Wednesday. The legislation, which Graham has been working on with fellow Republicans and Democrats, really, for months, would impose sanctions on countries doing business with Russia. Freudian slip there, almost said China, including buyers of its energy exports over Moscow's failure to negotiate a peace deal with Ukraine. Russia obviously invaded Ukraine in 2022, and that war is still going on. Look, my shock of this is that the Democrats are involved.
Well, so they are very pro-Ukraine, right?
Yeah, but they're against tariffs.
Sure, it puts them in a bind, but they'll pass this.
You think so?
I think this will get over 60 votes.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of what it is. So what do you call it? The Ukraine part of this, the fact that Russia hasn't complied with the drawdown regarding the Ukraine situation is just a pretext. That's not really what this is about. But it is popular on the left, so it'll give left people cover to vote for it, right? The real issue is that let's start from the top down. The first issue is BRICS. Okay. Brazil, Russia, India, China, lowercase s, which is like a fucking global NATO, but with those countries, essentially, right? And they're trying to establish a new currency. They're trying to pop off the petrodollar, take over global energy. They've bought 70% or so of rare earth minerals globally. This is mostly about knocking them out. And to Graham's point, he says this bill will allow Trump to punish those countries who buy cheap Russian oil fueling Putin's war machine. The fueling Putin's war machine part is irrelevant. That is something. It'll be nice to knock that out, but the real issue that we have right now, and yesterday, this didn't get heavily reported, but it wasn't just one tanker that we confiscated yesterday. It was two. Yep. Our understanding is, from the intel reports I've seen, that it isn't just illegal, like sanctioned crude going to Russia to then go to India and China. It's also weapons coming back. So the crude will go over on the tanker, unload in Russia. The Russians will load weapons in and bring it back to South America for jihadist training and narco-terrorists and all this other stuff. So that's a big part of it. BRICS at the top, and us dismantling their global influence because they're involved in all this stuff now. They're all over the world. I talked to a guy from the State Department this morning actually about it. They're all over the world. They're in Africa. They're in South America. They're in Central America. They're in Canada. They're all over. They're less so in Europe like this, but
Canada I've heard, by the way.
Yeah. So a big part of this is isolating China, right? Like, I know that we're doing stuff to Venezuela and to Iran and to Russia, but all of these things affect China, which is the power center for the BRICS organization. It's not Brazil. No. And it sure as shit isn't Russia, who can't beat Ukraine, or Iran, who can't stop our bombers from fucking tap dancing into their fucking country, taking a shit and leaving before they fucking open the door, right? It's China. It's China who steals $600 or so billion worth of our IP every year, who launches thousands of cyber attacks against our critical infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Fentanyl into the country, all that stuff. But China, I don't want to hear any more about China's capabilities, okay? They haven't been in a war since they fought Korea 90 fucking years ago.
Hey, hold on. They also lost a Vietnam War.
Did they really?
Yeah, they invaded Vietnam after we did.
No shit.
And it didn't go well.
And it lasted
really short. I don't know how long.
It wasn't very long. The current iteration of the Chinese military hasn't fought a war since anybody in that fucking military has been alive.
Interesting.
Not one, okay? All they've done is roll through cities and bully people that are unarmed. That's their military experience. The 82nd Airborne Division by itself could take out the entire Chinese military. I'm not kidding.
Homer.
With air support. The 101st couldn't do it because you are legs. No, they could do it too. any one of our top tier infantry divisions could take out the Chinese military. I'm not even kidding. That plus air support, obviously. But this is all about what China has done behind the scenes. They knew they're bitches, frankly, and then two, they know they don't have the military capability. Unlike Russia, who's dumb, they decided not to launch kinetic operations against everybody and do shit the slick way, right? Pay people off, invest in mining rights, blah, 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 all that stuff. Try to fucking set Americans against each other with these billion-dollar information campaigns. And it worked really well, but now it's over. And now they're in big fucking trouble. So this leaders in the Senate and the House have held off on bringing this legislation to a vote yet because Trump has preferred to impose tariffs on goods directly in India, but I think we're getting ready for a deal with Modi. So this is going to be the next part. We're going to do deals. Once these deals, I'm telling you, once these deals are signed with Modi, because he just had a meeting with Netanyahu last week, I think, and they both recognize Somaliland, which we'll talk about in a minute. That deal's signed. We're probably going to have something with Brazil. We're going to have some resolution with Colombia as well. And now that we control Venezuela, we're going to put a 500% secondary tariff on Russian energy. That means rare earth minerals. It means nuclear, LNG, oil, whatever they got. And if you're a country that buys one fucking liter of Russian energy, right now every single product you have coming into the U.S. or partner countries has a 500% tariff on it. They won't do it.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll try, and they should, to be fair, because if you're not cheating, you're not trying. They'll try to do it on the slick. You know, they'll try to fucking use these ghost tankers, as they call them, to do stuff, and we'll stop them and take the tankers. And then they'll have to comply.
Yeah.
And then China gets isolated entirely.
The wild thing to me is if Trump isn't in there right now, I still think that everybody would fear these weird countries and militaries around the world. Remember Barack Obama with the Iran bullshit of, we can't go to war with Iran, we can't do anything.
He gave
with
him
Iran.
$150 billion.
Yeah, and I never really understood it. And for me personally, I thought, you know, when I read that story, and obviously everybody knows it now and remembers it, I thought it was because Iran has some crazy fucking military nuclear capabilities that we're really concerned with them. Same thing with Russia until they got into this war with Ukraine. Now, with Trump in there, taking out people left and right, going back to Soleimani and everybody else, and them not doing anything whatsoever, why isn't the media reporting that these countries' militaries fucking suck around the world and they just can't do shit, even if they wanted to, including China? Who's to gain by that? Why doesn't the media just say that?
Some people do. It's fewer than it should be, but yeah, I don't know.
But I watch the nightly news. I watch ABC News and CBS News and all that other shit.
Well,
and they still treat it like it's this dangerous thing where we could go to world war again. No, I don't think we could.
I mean, I don't know what. We don't have a peer that has 50% of our capabilities on this earth.
I don't think so, right?
Yeah, I mean, so the axis that we're currently dealing with, and when it comes to military force, we're talking about Iran, Russia, and China. We could easily destroy all three of those countries without really breaking a sweat, in my opinion.
Iran would probably take 48 hours.
And without nukes, I see
Yeah.
what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
And conventional warfare, yeah. We don't need nukes for that.
Iran would be the quickest. 48, 72 hours.
China would actually be the quickest because all the power is in the cities. I know it seems like a big country.
Well, it's not that, but it's just the travel to get over there.
Well, we can go west as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I think all of the power, all of the military power, especially in China, is in the cities. And if you fucking pincer those cities, everything else is hinterland, and those people don't give a fuck about China. I don't even know. Like, there are people that are living in Korea right now that consider themselves Chinese because they're Han Dynasty people, right? Like, a lot of the Koreans are Han. Once you get out into that hinterland, like, yeah, they're culturally Chinese, but they're not like fucking Mao loyalists or anything. Those people aren't coming to fight. That's not how it works over there.
They're not
you know what I
Han
mean?
either.
No, the ones in the hinterland are not Han. As a matter of fact, there's quite a few Muslims out there in that hinterland that are in slave camps.
Yeah.
It's like imagine if China's kind of like imagine if the East Coast of the United States was all white, right?
Yeah.
And then throughout the rest of the United States, it was mostly
Everybody
populated.
else.
Yeah,
by everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? So all the fucking people that wear driving gloves and visors and shit like that keep their tan low live on the east side in the cities where all the military and industrial power is, and everybody else is basically slave labor, right? And they're not fighting for China, okay? It's just not going to happen. So I think China would be the easiest. Russia would be the most difficult, probably just because the land mass, and they have these weird relationships with people, and they have a bunch of like weird ass like there's still a bunch of old KGB dudes running around. I don't know how that would go. Iran, I think, because of it would depend on how you go about it. Like white dudes in uniform dropping into that place would be bad news. It would be just like Iraq or Afghanistan. You don't want to do that.
And also, I mean, just thinking off the top of my head here, the topography of it, because they've got weird fucking regions in Siberia and all that other shits.
Yeah.
Mountains,
It's
hills,
tough up
snow, fucking all that bullshit.
Yeah, Hitler made that mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that you don't want to do that. And wouldn't need to necessarily. Like Russia's the kind of country that you're not going to have an insurgency in. You know what I mean? Like we saw it after the Cold War ended. All those satellite states, they didn't fight to stay in Russia. They were just like, all right, fuck these guys.
No, I think it would probably balkanize more because Russia's similar too, right? All the Russians, it's funny when people are like, Russia's a white country. Like, it's not at all. Like,
is Tajikistan white?
Yeah, exactly.
All the stands except for Afghanistan are in Russia, or were.
Yeah,
but there's still a humongous Asiatic population
Yeah.
on the other side of the Ural Mountains.
Yeah, Kazakhstan.
everybody in the UFC, every UFC champion, essentially.
Yeah, like
Pretty much.
Like Georgia is kind of white, but like past the Ural Mountains, it's Asia. Like they're like steppe people. You know what I mean? Like that's essentially what they are.
Yeah, the Turkmenistan people,
Inbreds.
Tajiks, the Uzbeks, they're all like that in Kyrgyzstan. But and this is why another reason all those states are actually part of the Iranian issue, which is that if you tried to occupy Iran, you've got Iraq and Turkey and Armenia to the north in a very small section. But you have Turkmenistan and Afghanistan and Pakistan all right there, and that's a problem, right? I mean, it's like you would really have to a military force trying to pull up Iran on a map. And you can see why you would not want to occupy a place like this, because you're covered in water on the north and south. It's a very narrow inlet of land right there, but you have to police that entire border. Except for like Armenia, Azerbaijan, you'd be okay, not paying too much attention to that, but everywhere else you have to pay attention to, including Persian Gulf.
Yeah. Because you'd be able to get in and out of there.
Plus the terrain.
Right.
Yeah, terrain
is
ass.
I know.
There's a lot of mountainous stuff over there. But yeah, I think we wouldn't do that anyways. It wouldn't, like, the people there, like the Kurds and the people that have been waiting for this moment for their entire lives, probably, like the old Shah loyalists that remained in the country whose children or grandchildren are now of age to fight, have been waiting for this for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like, and I don't know if it's social media that's causing it or what it is, but it just feels like there's this uprising around the world where it's just like, hey, just give us a little bit of something. We're ready
Trump.
to fight back now. That's what it feels like.
It's
what it
Trump.
feels like.
It's like strong leadership. It gives, like, there's this old Andrew Jackson had this quote back in the day, and I use it all the time in my writing, but it's one man with courage makes a majority. And it shows that it's psychology is very contagious. And if you see somebody doing something, you think, well, I can do that too. And people there believe that if their government goes too hard against them, that Trump will intervene. They believe it.
Yeah.
They believe it in Colombia. They believe it, and they sure as shit believe it in Venezuela now if they didn't before. And Colombia definitely believes it now, which is why that motherfucker got on the phone.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we'll talk about that. We got our first sponsor, though, real quick, who puts the shit wagon on the air. MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Get off the couch and get into the action tonight, actually, Bob, with MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros will double that deposit up to $1,000. College football playoffs are on a Thursday night. What a gift. What a fucking gift tonight. We got Thursday nights college football, Friday night college football, Saturday NFL playoffs, Sunday NFL playoffs, Monday nights NFL playoffs. Let's fucking go. Tonight's game, Miami at Ole Miss. What is that spread out right now? I bet it at 3.5 yesterday.
Is it 3?
Woo! What's up, dude? I already posted it. It's in Drinkin' Bros Sports on Facebook. Private group, but if you join, you can see all my bet slips in there. And I already bet it. So I took Ole Miss plus 3.5 tonight. A lot of people are saying, including, I feel nervous, by the way, about this. Paul Feinbaum, who is obviously the head of the SEC, it feels like, or the Shaw of the SEC. Even he yesterday was just like, man, the SEC is fucking dead. He goes, unless Ole Miss wins this shit, like, it's bleak. In the SEC, and I was surprised to hear it. I just think they're playing for themselves, the players, which sometimes can go very, very right. So I'm going to take Ole Miss plus 3.5 tonight and see what happens. You've got Miami? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I'm wearing this one here for the Oregon Ducks. I'm going to take Oregon tomorrow night against Indiana. That was also a 3.5-point spread. Those bets are already posted on Drinkin' Bros Sports on Facebook, and then I'll be putting up the NFL bets over the weekends. You can also typically, Bob, I don't know if it's up yet, bet on the Golden Globes. That's on Sunday nights. That'll be fun. I'd like to see Best Actor go to my boy, Timothée Chalamet. Let's go, dude. You can usually bet on that as well, and they got everything across the board. But tonight, yes, I've got a lot of money on tonight's game, and I'll be sitting around enjoying it. Wife's at a book club tonight in the neighborhood. So I get to watch the game and just chill after the kids go to bed. Let's fucking go. Head on over to mybookie.com. Use that promo code Drinkin' Bros to double that first deposits all the way up to $1,000. Bet with us or against us over there. Next up.
Trump just announced he's going to sign an executive order to ban mail-in ballots and certain voting machines.
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't imagine he's got the constitutional authority to do that. I don't think. Massive voter fraud. We'll have to look into that. I'll check back in on that on Monday.
For sure, yeah. Tune in to Fake News on Monday as well on Drinkin' Bros Podcast Patreon for that story here. I'm trying to pull it. I'm getting bits and pieces, but I don't want to fuck this up in case it's incorrect. But in the meantime, economy is booming. That's the next story. That's Trump. That's Papa Trump, dude. The economy is rolling right now after nearly 2 months of delay caused by a government shutdown. U.S. GDP data was finally released, and President Donald John Trump is pointing to the surprise results as proof of his economic agenda and that it's working. The tariffs are responsible for the great USA economic numbers just announced. I'm laughing because this is all in caps. Well, half of it is because this is Trump's tweets that are going out. This is according to Truth Social. U.S. GDP grew at an annual rate of 4.3% in the third quarter of 2025, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Their initial estimates, the fastest pace of growth since the third quarter of 2023, which was obviously the end of COVID. So that makes sense. That was right around that time period. The figure also handily beats economists' expectations for a 3.2 increase. Today, Bloomberg reported that it's up to 4.9% growth. What's happening here to cause all of this? Because all I'm seeing from the left is doom and gloom, but I have my own theory on that. I think it's the states themselves and their weird fucking bullshit taxes.
Well, with energy, that's true, yeah. The third quarter, we were at a run rate of 4.3% GDP growth. The latest numbers Bloomberg reported today is that quarter four is going to come in at 4.9.
Which is massive.
Yeah, well, that's massive. Atlanta Fed is projecting that Q4 is actually going to be plus 5.4, which is that is that is massive. Anything over 4 is significantly good.
You're 4.9 now. I mean, Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
anything over 4. We know that Q3 is 4.3. Bloomberg says that they thought Q4, and this was the last week of December when they reported this. Excuse me, that Q4 would be 4.9. Now Atlanta Fed, who's the better gauge of it, says 5.4. I wouldn't expect another rate cut for a while.
Really?
Yeah, just like the rate cut I thought was going to happen in January happened in December because things were going so well. But now at 5.4, now all the indicators look good. There's no reason to think that we're going to have increased inflation. As a matter of fact, the job numbers look even better than we thought they were going to look. So the job number flipped from -1 to plus 1.9 basically, and I don't think you'll see another rate cut like I thought you would maybe in February. I think the earliest you'll see it now is probably April because you're going to need to see Q1 numbers and see how inflation's doing because this is the hottest the economy's been since 2009. Right.
Well, look, I'm looking at the stock market today. I mean, it's up another 270 points. You're nearing 50,000. Have we ever hit 50,000
No.
in the history of our country? I don't think so, right?
No, not even close. We just hit 40 a couple of years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so, the tariff stuff is clearly working. The Supreme Court is going to rule on whether or not it's constitutional for Trump to do it unilaterally.
Why? I don't understand that.
That's what their job is. I don't think that they will rule against him. A lot of people, like Polymarket says 70% is leaning towards them ruling against him, but I don't think they will. Primarily because there's no reason he would not have that constitutional authority.
That's what I don't get.
Like the Congress, Article 1 gives the Congress authority to levy tax, and so does the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, to levy tax against the citizenry, but to levy tax outside the country, I think, is executive power. That's my opinion. So we'll see how it shakes out. I don't think, especially considering the results, that they're going to go after him for that. But also keep in mind that the trade deficit is pushing a lot of these numbers as well. And those are all good indicators. It shows that we're not just that the economy is growing, because growing would be 4%, 3.5% would be growing actually.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
over 3 is growing, but 3.5 would be growing.
I remember when they were stoked that it was 3.2.
Yeah. 4 plus up to 5, up to 5.5 almost maybe, if Atlanta Fed is right, is significant growth. But a good portion of that, probably a point to a point and a half, is due, maybe even 1/6, is due to the fact that our trade deficit has been cut in half. So let me find the numbers here. Let's see. So in March of 2025, the trade deficit was $136 billion, which was down from a record high under Biden in 2022 of almost $900 billion. Right now, it's at less than $30 billion, which is the first time it's been less than that since before 2010. And having a trade deficit like that means that we're not losing as much money, adds to the GDP, or I guess it balances the ledger such that it adds a point to a point and a half back to our GDP growth. Now, a caveat to that is that the job market hasn't quite caught up yet, and that a lot of this economic growth is due to AI, which doesn't necessarily create a shitload of jobs. It will when we start building new data centers and the power plants to service them, because that's human beings doing that, right? So a lot of new construction stuff is coming. A lot of new manufacturing stuff is coming. Let's see. Right now, let me find this. Right now, as it stands, the rate of open jobs to unemployed persons is 0.91, which means for every unemployed person, there's 0.91 jobs available, right?
Okay.
So even if we employed everybody that's unemployed, we would still have unemployed people. Usually you want that to be the other way around, right? You want an employee deficit, not an employment deficit. So that leaves us about 500,000 to 600,000 unemployed, even if we staff every single job with every single person. Right now, that'll change within the next year because a lot of manufacturing is returning. A lot of these plants, like 2 of these chip plants are coming online this year. Byron, the one in Arizona for sure.
Phoenix, yeah.
But I think the one in Columbus area is coming online this year as well.
Yeah.
That's a Micron plant.
Yeah.
So big moves coming. The skeptics will say that because it's such AI-driven growth that it's a bubble, but the fact that there are tail-end jobs coming, and Byron could probably speak to this too, for the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to be building out physical infrastructure for AI. Physical infrastructure, that is to say plants to build the chips, the fucking cooling factories, the energy factories, the assembly shit, the distribution for all of it. All of this stuff is going to get built out over the next 10 to 15 years, and that's just job, right? So this is the best our economy has looked in my lifetime for sure.
And just to continue what you're saying there, this is why, the Venezuelan oil is very important, because we're going into a period of time where energy demand is about to spike through the roof.
I know, because all this AI shit is
exactly.
it's driven by energy.
There's 2 completed data centers in California that just can't secure the power to turn them on. But other than that, they're ready to go. So that's going to be the bottleneck we're running into here pretty quick.
The only downfall I could potentially see in regards to AI, and it's simply because we're in these VC meetings all the time for Hard AF Seltzer, and I know a lot of money out there is going into AI and people are investing in this shit. Is there an AI bubble with some of these companies that is going to burst kind of the same way the .com?
Yeah, but if
I don't know.
But
I don't know the answer on
the
that.
problem with .com is that .com was fucking creative destruction immediately, right? So .com was able to end jobs immediately. AI cannot do that. The AI is not going to kill jobs immediately. It produces more net jobs than it kills. I think to the tune. I think and this is from the World Economic Forum, by the way. They did a joint study with somebody, so take that for what it's worth. But the overall number was AI will create over the next 10 or 15 years 260 million jobs, and you will lose 90 for a total of like plus 160, I think it was, or 170, plus 170. Mm-hmm. So 170 million new global jobs are going to be created as a result of this. It is a net job creator, not a net job killer over the next 15, 20 years, right? So if you want to call something that lasts 20 years a bubble, I guess you're entitled to do that, but that's not really accurate. That's not the way we think of as a bubble, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like, because there's so much opportunity both to take advantage of the economic upswing and plan for what comes next over 20 fucking, if you can't figure it out in 20 years, you're a dumbass. Not right. As an individual, I just mean like countries. If you can't figure that out, then maybe you weren't ever going to.
I also think there is a lot of doomerism on the side of people who are calling for the AI bubble. A lot of people in my generation, especially, gaming communities, stuff along that side, they hate AI because they can't get a GPU from a NVIDIA now.
Yeah.
What they don't, fully realize is they want the bubble to come because to them, then AI's gone and dead. It's not.
Which
it's
is not
here to
true.
stay.
Yeah,
Just like
I agree.
The .com bubble, it did crash, but millions of more people now use the internet today than in the 2000s. It's just a narrative I see perpetuated around a lot, and yeah, it's not going away.
And at the end of the day, like, let's take the .com bubble, for example. I remember buying stocks towards the end of it. It was like BarnesandNoble.com was one of them. It was an IPO that had just popped up, and everybody was expecting a big, this is gonna be awesome, and then Amazon had already figured it the fuck out before them in regards to books and all that other shits, and it didn't work. But at the end of the day, yes, to your point, as everything kept going further, it's not like we got rid of this shit. We just found the companies that were the best at it, and those are the ones that survived. And other ones didn't.
I mean, what percentage of jobs in America right now could exist without the internet? Like, for real.
Yeah,
and then think 50 years from today, what percentage of jobs?
Not this one.
What percentage of jobs could even exist without AI now? That's what we'll be saying. That creative destruction is as old as technology is old. And when I say technology, I mean fucking tools. I mean, like
Fire.
stone tools and fire and shit. You know what I mean?
I wasn't. My understanding of the .com bubble is a lot of it was just dumb money being put in dumb places.
But that's what's going on in AI.
Right. So
Bob,
that's
all these
why
conversations
it could still
I'm in.
potentially. But you are correct. The tool's not going anywhere. The same way that the internet wasn't going anywhere. But when everyone's trying to put money on the table, right, to let you're gonna get
Somebody's going to get fucked.
Yeah, there's gonna be bag holders.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, the smart people would be spending, like, you're not going to make an AI play that outperforms somebody that has $1 billion. But you can find a way to piggyback off the infrastructure and make $1 billion. Mm-hmm. That's what people did on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You couldn't, like, there was no version of you competing with the internet. A lot of people tried. There was a lot of weird shit that came out, like net zero and shit like that.
Yeah.
All these fucking, everybody thought they were going to have the new browser and make $1 billion off of it. There were like 3 of them that actually
Bing,
worked.
Dude.
Yeah. Well, Bing actually got bought by Microsoft, so they made
did it really?
Yeah. But
I love Bing. Dude.
yeah, there was like 4. There was Chrome, Mozilla, Internet Explorer,
Safari,
and Safari. Right. Those are the only ones. And then Safari bought, or Safari stayed with Apple. Internet Explorer is now Bing / Microsoft.
whatever
right?
the fuck it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's like
I don't Bing too much
All
anymore.
that shit got cannibalized. You're not going to compete with the $1 billion company. What you should
We
be
don't use
looking to do.
AOL anymore.
Yeah.
What you should be looking to do is like, oh, there's this new technology. Like Amazon. I could sell my shit on Amazon now. That's
Right.
smart. That's what you should be thinking about AI.
Yeah. I agree, but there will be some correction at some point. I just don't know when.
Well, the correction will be the correction usually is smart money, because look at all the shit that happened after the .com bust in the early 2000s, right?
I hope so. I've talked to a lot of dumb people out there, so I don't know anymore. I think it's one of those things where they got to put their hand on the stove and then, oh fuck,
No. Think about all of the stuff.
I'm talking about the tech bros who are investing in this shit, where it's just, I mean, they're throwing really stupid money at AI right now. Like,
Bro,
a lot of it.
here's what happened after. These are things that happened after the .com bust, okay? Broadband internet. People are like, oh, the internet exists now? Let's give it to people as fast as we fucking possibly can. That's a multi-billion-dollar business now.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not
every
great.
single year.
I'm just saying everybody's trying to get in on some form of AI, and they're not all going to succeed.
No, they won't all succeed, but the smart money will pivot to do what I said. Social media marketing and digital marketing in general, all of those things came from it. Smartphones came from this. The iPad came from this. That thing doesn't exist. All this, everything we do for business as a result of this. Audible, books, media, streaming, all this stuff happened. Cloud computing, fucking software as a service, Web 2.0 and now 3.0. All this shit exists because somebody said, you know what? I'm not going to try to reinvent this wheel that this $1 billion company is inventing. I'm just going to fucking do an appendation to it and make myself $1 billion. That's the smart move.
And this sounds like an endorsement for Al Gore right now, because he invented the internet. So
Yeah,
congratulations,
totally.
Al. Way to go.
I was going to say, too, is like it raises the quality of life for the average citizen having access to the internet. AI is going to do the same thing. You know, people talk about the use cases now, generative AI, marketing type stuff, things like that. Think about the potential for like healthcare applications.
I was just going to say
for
medical.
being able to break down
yep.
the Human Genome Project better than we ever have, because that's an insanely tedious thing you need someone very smart to do. Well, an AI can study for years and be the best at that. So there's a lot of use cases to me that people aren't thinking of right now that will just revolutionize, you know, the average quality of life for a human being on this planet.
Surgeries, by the way. So the one that I watched on 60 Minutes a couple months back was that's open heart surgery in another country, and the guy did it from Florida. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. And
like when
we don't have access to that
when
type of healthcare.
Well, even if they did, when we said work from home, we never meant medicine.
Right.
Right? And the idea of a lower level technician being able to take equipment into the home of a hospice care person who cannot be moved for one reason or another, and the guy can perform surgery in his underwear from his fucking living room and save their life, that's something.
Yeah, for sure. That'll lead us into our next advertiser over here. We got a new one on the show. Men go to Mars.com. 50% off plus 3 free gifts when you check out. after you purchase. Tell me you found us from Drinkin' Bros over here. It's our good friend Chuck Liddell over there. Give him a round of applause. Give Chuckles a round of applause, dude.
Put his face up on the goddamn screen.
Yeah, Bob. Come on, man. Fucking homie for life.
Is that the
dude.
most recognizable Mohawk in history? Who else would it
Mr.
be?
T?
Mr. T,
Mr.
yeah.
T. I got Mr. T at 1. I got
Okay.
Chuck at 2. Sorry. I love you,
Onesie,
Chuck.
twosie, yeah.
Yeah.
Who would be after that? The
Start
Road
something
Warrior,
there.
maybe? I guess that was more of a blowout. Like
Nah,
fucking,
that was a blow. That
yeah.
was a fucking glam rock look that he had. It was sexy. This is for anybody who's looking for TRT replacement, man. If you're into it, it's the most potent natural testosterone stack on Earth. If you're afraid of needles and want to give this a try, because let's face it, you're on injections once a week for pretty much the rest of your life here. But if you want to give this a go and see what the potential is of testosterone and all that other stuff, you can check out our good friends over at mengotomars.com and our buddy Chuck Liddell over there. Look, I've talked about the TRT struggles that I had on this show for fucking forever. And there's a lot of people, we still get emails. Shit, man, probably 20 a week. DMs and shit like that are like, hey, dude, I'm not really sure about the needles and everything else. There's something I can try to see if this will work, and maybe that'll boost something or whatever. This is it. Chuck is one of the spokesmen for it, and if you're looking to get your testosterone up, you can obviously go down the rabbit hole for all of this shit. This is one of the best companies there is. So you can unlock your power today and going into the new year. If you're looking to test it out the natural way like this, give it a go, dude, and see how you feel. And then that'll kind of guide you to where you need to be there.
Scroll down to those ingredients. It's the
Yeah.
next screen down. Like, this is all super important shit. All this stuff is...
Taurine in there, K1, K2, vitamin D, boron, zinc, all that.
Fenugreek.
Zinc's huge.
Fenugreek and Tungat, Ali, Shilajit, all that stuff. Not only does it help your body produce more natural testosterone, but it also improves fertility, right? Which is an indicator of health. If you look at any of this new research, for some people, if you have autoimmune disorders or just like for a general baseline in health, they're doing sperm tests now instead of just blood tests.
Yep.
Like it's blood and sperm, not in the same container, obviously.
I do it.
Well, it saves time, but they test it because there's a the quality of your sperm is an indicator of how healthy you are. So if you could work backwards from there, certainly it makes sense.
Yeah. Made in the USA and third-party tested, 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst case, you don't absolutely love it, you get your money back, so who gives a shit? But over 91% of users report high energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Check out the reviews on the websites if you want to. And for a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life. Plus, free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about us. Like I said at the top, dude, tell them Drinkin' Bros podcast sent you, and we love you. Next up is Colombia has appeared to cave. President Donald Trump on Wednesday said arrangements are being made for representatives of the United States and Colombia to meet at the White House. I like how he said being made. Let's face it. He fucking picked up the phone. Trump wrote on Truth Social that Colombian President Gustavo Petro called to explain the situation of drugs and other disagreements between the two countries, adding the two leaders are expected to meet in the near future. It was a great honor to speak with the president of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, who called to explain the situation of drugs and other disagreements we have. Trump wrote, I appreciated his call and his tone and look forward to meeting him in the near future. Oh, God, dude. All these fucking people, man, especially after the Maduro thing. Because Homeboy was another one who said, oh, I'm ready. I'm here. You can come and get me. And then, 48 hours later, it was like, oh, shit. I think this might actually happen. I should probably give him a call.
Yeah. The announcement came after Trump issued a warning to the Colombian president following that military operation over the weekend. Trump said, Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you. Somebody asked him about whether he would conduct a military operation in Colombia, and Trump responded, it sounds good to me.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. Homeboy was afraid for his life after the Maduro shit. I truly believe that, man. And as more details trickled out throughout the week and everything else, what was it? 6 minutes and 51 seconds they extracted him and his wife out of the fucking compound.
No, that's how long that gay scene lasted.
No. That was 6 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah, no, the
Oh, I'm sorry. Switch that. Yeah. It was 17 seconds less than the Stranger Things gay thing, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I'd pick up the phone.
Yeah, and then he started talking shit. He says, although I've not been a military man, I know about war and clandestinity. I swore not to touch a weapon again since the 1989 peace pact, but for the homeland, I will take up arms again that I do not want. He also dismissed Trump's claims that he's linked to drug trafficking. I'm not an illegitimate. I'm not a narco, yada, 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 yada. Now, he's a former member of the leftist M19 guerrilla movement that demobilized in the early 1990s. So, one of those leftist turds. He's not going to be in power much longer. They hate him in Colombia.
It doesn't feel like it.
So here the first step of all this, and it's what made that $40 billion investment in Venezuela so smart, to be honest. Bukele turned around El Salvador and showed people that they can have a good economy and be safe as long as they just let the government deal with assholes. And then Venezuela deregulated everything and got rid of all the communist bullshit and just fucking soared. They came out of crippling economic depression almost immediately. I think 2 quarters in, they were back in the green. And all these other countries, Colombia, Venezuela, et cetera, started looking at it. I was like, shit, we could probably do that too. So there's like a lot of, you didn't see a whole lot of protests in Venezuela after that motherfucker got knocked out. You know what I mean?
So partying.
Yeah.
Everybody's still partying. I was talking about this in Ross Patterson Revolution earlier. There's still videos of those motherfuckers partying. They're on like day 8 of this party down there.
Yeah, so us investing, and by the way, we made a fucking 6% return on that $40 billion investment, I think.
Quick.
Like super quick. Really smart move to prop up a guy who's doing the right thing and give him a little bit of help. Just like it would be if your buddy came to you and said, hey, I need $100 to get through the week. Otherwise, I'm going to have to sell drugs. Yep. Like, yeah, I'll give you $100. Don't go do anything dumb.
Or sell the drugs to me.
Or either way, just like make it safe. It's a smart move on our part. And now I was just in Colombia 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. They are, every single person I talked to about it, I asked everybody because I don't give a shit. What do you think about the president? They're like, we fucking hate that guy. And he's going to get voted out this year. I don't think a military action is going to be necessary.
Will it be a real vote is the question, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Trump's going to tell him. He's like, there will be a real vote in 26, and you will accept the results of that vote.
And get the fuck out of there.
And then you'll get the fuck out. And then you can stay alive and keep your money.
So
that'll be the negotiation. Well, technically, Rubio's going to tell him.
Yeah. But since you've been there, what is it like in real life? Because I've had some other friends go down to Colombia, and they said it's beautiful, and it could be prosperous. It's just they've been under this fucking narco-terrorist bullshit for years and years and years.
Yeah, it's weird. Their economy is not what it should be, as you might expect. There's a lot of Venezuelan immigrants there that are causing trouble.
Okay.
Which is funny because the Venezuelans were rich for a very long time until the socialists took over. So if you talk to anybody that's over like 35 or 40, they remember Venezuela like holding that over their heads, like, oh, you're just poor Colombians, or whatever. We're the big brother, and you're a little bitch or whatever. That's kind of the attitude. Excuse me. Now it's different. Venezuelans are very poor, so you're seeing a lot of Venezuelan illegal immigrants interrupt the job market in Colombia. There's still a lot of drug trafficking in Colombia, but there's not nearly as much cartel-based stuff anymore. So they're close. that country could be recovered and capitalized pretty quickly.
Well, you saw how fast it happened in El Salvador.
Yeah.
So it is possible, and you do have a case study.
Yeah, they just need good leadership. Most of the powerful people there are fucking former M19, like left-wing people. You need a libertarian or something, like somebody that you're probably going to be a bit authoritarian, but you don't need some female Nobel Peace Prize winner. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. I don't think.
Yeah, me neither. Bob, look up the murder rate in El Salvador, because I just read it maybe 5 or 6 days ago, and it was some crazy record low number that they were like, man, this has never happened in the history of the country.
As of last year, according to the government, 1.9 per 100,000, and in 2015 it was over 100 per 100,000.
Fucking A, dude. So it can happen. It's possible. And it appears, from the interviews and everything else and everybody else going down there that they fucking love that guy, Bukele. So if you get the right guy in power that's able to turn around your country and then cut deals with Trump like he was doing, shit, we can all win in the end.
Yeah, don't be surprised if if there's a massive federal prison or multiple prisons built in Venezuela, and every single member of TDA, Trinidad Aragua, both that are in the U.S., the 5,000 or so that are here allegedly, and everyone we can find in Venezuela as well are in prison for the rest of their lives pretty soon.
Should be great. So the only negative that I can see is again the cocaine. Man, where is that going to come from? D'Anthony, that's a rough one out there, man. It's scarce out there in these streets, from what I've heard. Totally kidding. Next up, advertiser-wise, natural cocaine here. Ketone.com/Drinkin Bros. 30% off your first subscription order. Plus, you'll receive a fun gift, like a free little 6-pack. A bottle. I take one before every show. I don't know if I was on camera for that earlier or not, but yeah, dude, whenever I need a fucking boost, it's usually before the shows, staying up late, all this other stuff. Ketone IQ, boom, it's right here. Just took a shot of this earlier. This is the new lemonade raspberry that's absolutely fucking rocks. It works, man. It's not like the weird over-the-counter gas station shit where you're just like, all right, I'm going to feel jittery, maybe have a heart attack today, potentially die, or just continuously shake like a Michael J. Fox all day. This shit and the ketones, man, absolutely fucking rocks. You want to talk about an AI boom? There's like a ketone boom right now, and everybody's trying to crack the code on it as far as either these shots or the RTDs as far as the beverages go. But in my opinion, these are the best in the biz. I'm locked in, man, for like 4.5 hours. I take them at night before I write, and I take them before the podcast in the morning if I need a little pep in my step. And they're great for working out too. So if you're out of gas mid-workout, fix the fuel. In a double-blind, placebo-controlled study on trained athletes, Ketone IQ delivered 19% increase in average power during repeated sprints, 13% peak power versus placebo, and then 10% less fatigue, 5-time increase in blood ketones within 20 minutes. For me, man, it's like a fucking brain fuel. Like that's what I use it for. I used to take that shit from On It. Full disclosure, and it was good, but it was kind of hit and miss whether it was working or not. And like some days I feel good, some days I feel out of my mind. This is right where it needs to be. It's nice and steady. We had the CEO on last year on the show, and he was honest about it. He was like, "Look, man, we knew the ketone shit worked, and it kind of tasted like jet fuel initially, but now they've boosted up the flavors. This raspberry lemonade's great. The green apple is great." And they're fucking everywhere. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Congratulations. They're in partnership with the Olympics that's coming up here. Shit. How far are we away from the Olympics? It's got to be next month, right?
It starts, man, when the fuck does it start?
I'm an Olympics junkie, dude. It's usually
It's in the
February.
summer.
February.
No, this is Winter Olympics now.
Oh, it's
February
Winter
6th.
Olympics.
There you go.
It's
Nailed
my
it, dude.
That's my birthday.
Let's go, brother. Where's
Winter
it at?
Olympics are dumb.
It's
You shut your mouth.
dude,
fucking
Shut your
pointless.
mouth. I'll curl with the best of them, dude.
First off, the NHL's letting the dudes play.
Yes.
So
That'll be fun.
Fuck yeah, it will be.
yeah,
That's the only thing I'll watch, probably.
yeah, pretty much.
You're
I mean,
a liar.
I'll watch other stuff, but
I don't watch
that's-
any of the Olympics.
Figure
I'm
skating.
keyed in.
I watched
I'm keyed
all of
into
it.
that for sure.
I watch all of it, dude. I love the Olympics. I love
It's,
winter and summer, dude, for real.
Yeah, they're a blast.
I don't give a fuck about this. Like I love it. Like this, I'm saying this from the heart. I watch it every fucking night, dude. There's some weird sense of pride I have. Maybe it's because when I grew up, it was just like, all right, it was on all the channels and all the shit.
Curling?
That's what I said to him. I was like, curling, dude, let's fucking go. Jake Paul's fiance, she's going for gold this year. She won silver in the last Olympics, just missed it. I don't know if you watched that documentary. She was pretty pissed off about it. But, yeah, dude, I'm sure she's taking this fucking shit, too. It works. So, look, if you're out there and you're just a normal dude and not an Olympic athlete like myself, just an Adonis who's cut from marble, a lot of people have saying, and you're right in saying that. Ketone IQ is just great for your brain, dude. And it's awesome. So visit ketone.com/drinkinbros for 30% off your subscription order. Plus, receive a free gift with your second shipment, or find Ketone IQ at Target stores nationwide and get your first shot for free. And that's ketone, ketone.com/drinkinbros. Next up, securing the Gulf of Aden. Israel's foreign prime minister, Gideon Sar, arrived in Somaliland. It sounds like a playground to me when they call it Somaliland.
It's about to be.
God damn it. For the first high-level diplomatic visit since it became the first country in the world to recognize the breakaway region's independence, triggering condemnation and concerns that Palestinians may be forcibly expelled by Israel there. You will know more about this story than me. What is it and what the fuck's going on there?
What's what?
Somaliland.
Bob, pull up a map.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Like, I really don't.
Do you know what Somalia is?
I do.
Mogadishu?
Yep.
So that's where Ellen Omar's family's from.
Somaliland?
No, Somalia.
Oh, yeah. No, I know that.
And
where the fuck is Somaliland?
zoom in. What is this weird? Is the TV fucked up?
No.
No, I
Well,
think it's
yeah.
the Apple mouse.
Dan, yes, yours
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Yours is not mine, but where is that at there?
It's in the western part of the country.
So what the fuck is it, dude? I don't know. Look, I don't know shit about this because I don't give a fuck about this country. I have zero desire to go to Africa.
Do you see where Djibouti is?
Yep.
Okay, so just to the southeast of Djibouti, there's a big cutout right there that goes almost all the way to that point. It's that red line that you see right there that the cursor's on.
Okay.
All of that is Somaliland, and it is it's been kind of the central hub for the resistance against Ellen Omar's family.
Okay.
Now, her dad was just a general in the military, but he was one of the worst guys over there, killing people and shit like that. Just like kind of the, I guess, one of the government warlords or whatever you want to call it. And it's not all about her. There was like a semi-government involved in that, obviously, but it's yeah, they're breaking away as a separate country now.
But how do you do it in the middle of a country like that? Because I'm looking at what you just circled.
Because they're the only ones with a functional military.
So what would you? Are you gonna keep it as Somaliland? Is that what it's? And then the rest of it's gonna be Somalia?
Well, we'll see. I don't think Somalia will exist much longer. I think that there will probably be some moves from the coalition of Abraham Accord members, probably Morocco, Israel, and if I had to guess, Saudi Arabia would want to get involved there.
You think so?
Doesn't Ethiopia get into a lot of dust-ups with Somalia? Wouldn't they?
Yeah, Eritrea as well.
Wouldn't they probably be happy to take chunks off of the?
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm sure everybody was. It's a shithole.
Yeah, I don't know what Ethiopia's capabilities are. I'm just saying, like, rich countries are definitely going to want to invest in Somaliland. If you see that piece of water right there just north of it, that's the Gulf of Aden. 80% of global trade goes through there. And just north of there, Bob, if you want to scroll up a little bit, is, what's that? Yemen. That's where the Houthi are. That's why they're attacking all our fucking boats all the time, right?
Gotcha.
So we want to secure this area. When I say we, I mean the global capitalists, people that just want to make money and be left alone by retarded fucking terrorists.
Yep.
They want to secure the Gulf of Aden because 80% of global trade goes through there. I've mentioned this before, but global trade has slowed down quite a bit. For this area of the world, Lloyd's of London and the other insurance companies went from insuring 150 million pounds of cargo a day down to 50. It's gradually going back up right now, but once Somaliland is established, and they're working on it now, and Iran flips, there's going to be some, like, one of the first things that Reza Pahlavi is going to have to do as the Shah of Iran, again, if that indeed happens, is to control Yemen, to get them under control, to wipe the Houthi out, because right now the Yemeni government sucks. I don't know if they're corrupt or incompetent, but either way, the Houthi have gone from like 1,500 retards 25 years ago to like thousands and thousands of people now. So there's going to have to be some kind of probably brutal enforcement and imprisonment campaign there to get those guys out of there. And then you start paying the citizens of Yemen a dividend for every fucking piece of cargo that goes through there, right? The same way that they would get paid for oil or anything else.
I just don't know how you stop this country of retards, dude. I really don't. Or try to cut out a little piece of it like that and make them civil versus the rest of these fucks.
They already are. They have been for 20 years.
But like when we were going through the numbers, what was it, 19.5 million, Bob, I think you said was the population there? It's a lot of fucking people. So
And Somaliland is 6.2 million people.
and so is that included if you...
Technically, it would be included in Somalia right now, but
Gotcha.
no.
Okay. So, well, then it's possible, right? So you're taking, essentially 1/3 of your citizens away, and they might be able to break free of this bullshit. I'm really shocked, though, that nobody's just bombed the hell out of that fucking place in general and just try to change it or do something there. I mean, like you said, with trade going through in and out of there, like it would only make sense, but nobody's ever really done it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there was a conference back in the early 90s to kind of deal with that during the Somali Civil War, which could be one of the reasons we deployed people over to Mogadishu, to be honest, in the first place. I don't really know. I don't really track on politics back then. But that's when they fought a war of independence in 81. They wrote a Declaration of Independence in 91. They have a constitution now that has existed since 2001. And they've basically been operating as a de facto state for the last 20, 25 years. Now, other countries are starting to recognize them. U.S., Israel, India, Morocco, et cetera, et cetera. So, obviously, these are countries, to be honest, this doesn't really affect us that much, but global trade, it does. And part of global trade is global petrol trade, and the petrol trade is done in the petrol dollar. So the more money, the more overhead you stack on top of that, and overhead includes breakage, and it also includes security costs and all this other shit, the less petrol dollars are going back and forth, or the less product, rather, is going back and forth. We need energy big time right now. Yeah,
and look, it all makes sense, and it'd be great for it to go down. Just wipe out these grimy fucks. I mean, you could wipe out that whole fucking place for, in my opinion. I just don't care. And also get them the fuck out of our country, especially with everything that's going on right now. By the way, we'll give a quick update on this because this is live going on right now. Bob, check your Twitter. We talked about that Minneapolis story, yesterday with that woman getting shot. JD Vance right there was live a few minutes ago talking about it, and a bunch of listeners keep tagging me on it. Go ahead and press play on this clip here as an update. Now, I think it was too cold, by the way, to burn the city down last night, but there was magical barrels that showed up that they could put wood in and start fires in the middle of the street and all that other shit, which was hilarious because I don't know where the fuck that shit comes from. Let's see what JD Vance has to say about this.
When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE, I stand with ICE, we stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. Questions?
Okay. So this will kind of bleed into later on in the night, because I was up late watching some of this coverage to see what was going on. Jimmy Kimmel, oddly enough, Jesus Christ, man, late night TV, it used to be comedy. It's not anymore. Pulled out a shirt last night, and I just wanted to get your take on this. Bob, if you can go to Twitter and just type in Jimmy Kimmel, just put in Trump shirt last night. I was shocked to see this, where I was like, man, there it is. Pop it up on screen there. Donald J. Trump is going to kill you.
Which Donald J. Trump do you think he's talking about?
Do you know another one?
I'm not familiar with one, but
wasn't there junior?
Yeah, there's a junior.
Yeah, there's a junior, but there's no junior on this shirt.
No senior
here.
either.
It says
my legal
Donald
name goes
J.
both
Trump.
ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Open-ended.
just Robert Fox. Sometimes
Sure.
it's the third.
Yeah, sometimes it's Bobby Three Sticks. You got a package today for Bobby Three Sticks, and I get that. How can you hold this T-shirt live on air and say that you're not trying to incite violence against the right or against the President of the United States or the officers who are trying to do their job, like J.D. Vance says?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, let's do a thought experiment. Byron, let's say I walked into the office this morning and said, hey, there's a dude outside. He wants to kill you. Well, how would you respond to that?
I'm going to grab one of the firearms in the office. I'm not necessarily going to go kill him, but I'm going to defend myself and be scared a little bit. Like, what? Yeah.
Okay.
Me? Oh, I have a favorite gun that I've been dying to use, so that would be my, that's a dream. That's, you got to do it. That's why that's the only thing you have over me in this life is, I never got to fucking kill somebody, but, yeah, that would be the fucking dream there. So, yeah, I got my fave. I'm not going to say where it's at or what it is, but it's in the office, like Byron says. There's about, 6, 8 of them in here. But I have my own personal
There's a
favorite.
couple.
So does Dan. Dan's got his favorite, and they're different too, by the way, which is great. So yeah, it would be fun.
I believe the point is that you would do something.
Yes. Oh, I understand why this guy. What Vance is saying. This guy did get doxxed. The officer involved. So okay. This makes more sense now. Whenever you see a weird name trending at #1 in the United States on Twitter and all that shit, you're like, wait a minute, it's actually the officer there. So that's what he's referring to in that video. I'm not going to say his name on air, but yeah, that's who they're trying to take down. And it appears as if they're trying to make this guy a Derek Chauvin.
Oh yeah,
type of dude.
Well, the guy got dragged by a fucking illegal immigrant a year ago and under the same conditions. So
yeah, I'm all good with this bullshit. And me personally, 2 factors last night. If you listened to yesterday's show, weather was an issue. Why I think that city didn't burn to the fucking grounds. That's 1. 2, there was a lot of different fucking angles of that woman getting killed and what she tried to do and how many people she actually tried to run over. There was a protest last night. It looks maybe in the 10,000 range. I was going through Minneapolis and candles and the whole bullshit. But I think most sensible people looked at that video and they were like, all right, man, she tried to drive over these fucking people. They traced the plates back to Missouri, by the way. What she was doing there is still unclear other than
who knows?
Trying to incite violence?
No, her parents said she had moved there a year ago.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
So they confirmed it? Why didn't she get her plates changed?
I didn't get my plates changed right away when I moved here.
Bobby broke the law, and it's time to call the police now.
I'm calling
I
ICE.
did change my plates.
Call ICE! Get Bob out of here! You don't change your plates? You gonna blast us full or what, Holmes?
Somebody in the chat says, a little behind, but Dan saying this is the best economy of his lifetime is just hilarious. Inflation is through the roof year over year, and we are continuing to increase the monetary supply. Well, one, as I mentioned many, many times before, we are recapturing billions of dollars in outstanding U.S. currency in the open market. $500 billion in tariffs over the 18-month period is what we expect to take in. In addition, inflation is at 2.68% right now, which is down from a long-term average of 3.28. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm telling you, this goes back to what I said earlier. It depends on what state you live in. So I had this conversation with...
that has nothing to do with the rate of inflation and monetary supply. That's just
but they don't know that.
Information.
But they don't know that, and that's the problem.
Well,
so
look it up.
Most people won't, is the issue. So the other night I posted, it was over Christmas break. Our gas station next door here, what is that, Grab and Go right there? Next to the studio, right there.
Valero? I don't know what the store is called.
Yeah, I think it's called Grab and Go. It might be.
The gas station and the convenience store are 2 separate entities, technically.
That's true.
The gas station part is a franchise.
Regardless, it was $2.15 this morning when I drove into work. I pass it every single fucking morning. You guys do too, on the way in because we all come from the same direction. And friends from California hit me up, and I posted it, and I said, hey, Merry Christmas, Donald Trump. This was rad. I just filled up a fucking huge-ass pickup truck for goddamn $47. Now, my buddy hit me up from California, and he goes, dude, is that real, or did you post that from somebody else? Is that AI or whatever? And I go, no, it's real. I was like, I literally just did that, and I filled it up. And he goes, fucking A, man. Gas was $6.85 in California. And I've heard this from some other friends who live in other states, but they all seem to be left states. I think it was Benny Johnson last night who posted, I believe, that there was 14 states total right now where gas is under $2.
Yeah.
So I think it's just based on where you live and where your information's coming from.
I think the national average is 281.
Okay.
Right now,
which is still great.
Well, I mean, 281 is exceptional, especially considering those West Coast states are all fucked.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get any better because I think something like 70 to 75% of their gas prices are state, local taxes, and not just taxes, but like penalties. You're a bad boy for using fossil fuels, and you got to pay the government. It's plenary indulgence. Do people really not see this stuff? Bob, you know, you're a Catholic. You guys have been robbing people for years. Something is either right or it's wrong, and charging them for it doesn't make it better.
No.
It does. They're still wrong. You're just profiting off of them being wrong. Explain to me in a way that St. Ignatius would, for example, plenary indulgences.
Explain what plenary indulgences are.
Yes.
You pay money, you get to go to heaven, or better yet, your dead friends and relatives who are in heaven or in purgatory or hell or whatever get to,
And what is it? What's the purchase do exactly? Does St. Peter is there a blindfold or what is it?
And then what? You don't think heaven has an accounting department?
I mean, Judas had the bag, right?
Yeah.
Let's be real. And then of course, my second question, follow-up question is in current politics, or not even politics, in science, does the Earth's atmosphere get a blindfold put over it? Like, I don't notice any of this carbon now because I'm paying California an extra $1.20 a gallon. What the fuck is the expectation here? I don't understand that at all.
I don't either, but in regards to the California thing, I told my buddy, I go, look, 98 cents per gallon is going to your local California taxes. So I go, I don't know where the rest of it's fucking going and all that other shit. But like the complaints I'm hearing about the economy are coming from the left states. And it's because of these shitty policies, the fraud, the Somalian bullshit, and everything else. Where all this money's going.
The other thing with California too, Newsom signed some orders recently where they have to have like a specific mix of gas for environmental reasons, which can only be refined in California, but it also costs more to refine. So then they pass those costs on. That's also why like the surrounding states, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, their prices have also been higher because they buy mainly from California. That's where the refineries are for them.
Well, Texas should sell to them, and then California should go across the border and buy gas.
You're not far away because there are some of them who live by the border of like Nevada and shit like that are going over there. But and look, and I'm not saying red states are fucking perfect at all by any means. Shit, Texas, the fucking property taxes here suck, and there's a lot of shitty things here. It's just financially we've noticed everything going down here, except for property taxes. And that's because of our local politics. Yeah. But I'm a fucking Republican, and I'm able to tell you that with a shitty Republican governor in a goddamn wheelchair that it sucks. Why you can't admit that in California about your own governor is beyond me. Because, the property taxes suck, but the rest of it, prices have changed with where everything else is going and everything else you just mentioned to whoever that listener was. Typically, you man the message boards, and I'll read the news out, but that's why. So I'd ask that dude what state he's in. That would be my first question. I really would. Because...
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do about broader monetary policy or chain CPI or any of that stuff, or monetary CPI.
But people only wake up and see what is in front of them that morning, the rest of that day, and I understand that, depending upon where you live. And they're either amped about it, they'll tell you they're amped about it, or they'll lie to your fucking face. Like the Mamdani shit earlier. Did you see that? It's about the daycare that he passed with Kathy Hawker?
Oh, yeah. Look, I'll be honest. You can feel how you want to about this, and I think this is a good, like if we were in a healthy republic right now, this would be a good debate to have. This and healthcare would be great debates to have. About how we get people the best quality and most affordable healthcare is a good conversation to have, and I think I consider it the same as infrastructure like roads, to be honest, because it makes us better. I would say the same thing is true of housing, and I would say the same thing is true of the family unit more broadly speaking. If we're in an economy where women have to work, which is the kind of economy we're in now, for better or for worse, then we're the only industrialized country in the world that doesn't have paid maternity leave as a rule and no form of like systematic health or childcare for them. The problem, as everybody's seeing now, is that we spent fucking $50 billion on fake shit. Like if you're a mom and you got a couple of kids and a job, you should be the most angry. Like these two women that were out there protesting ICE the other day, you should be the most two angry people that exist, because all the opportunity professionally that you would have had you had affordable childcare through any of these government programs that were ripped off by Somalians, you would have been able to do more with yourself, right? For your children. You would have been able to do more. You should be the angriest. You should certainly not be trying to stop ICE from enforcing these laws. That's insane to me. So I really do think that part of this discussion moving forward as we regulate a lot of this fraud isn't to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and that's not a pun because it's childcare. I'm serious. We really need to take a look at how we're providing affordable childcare to young middle-class families. Because I want them to buy houses.
I agree.
Because it's good for the economy. I want them to spend money and go on vacation because it's good for the economy. God damn it. And it can't happen if there's fraud because we can't afford it. But we can afford it without the fraud. We definitely can. You've seen us be able to afford it before without the fraud. So I feel like, and again, churches should play a role in this. They're not tax exempt because they're religious. They're tax exempt because they are required by law to provide a specific benefit outside of their charter to the community. That's what the law says. So there should be religious-based child care for anybody in that area that wants it. and it should be free of charge because that's what the fucking tax exempt status is for. There's a lot of ways to solve this problem, but just to not solve it because we don't agree with the solution is very dumb.
Yeah.
Bob, how much do you pay for fucking childcare?
A couple $1,000 a month, more than my mortgage, I would say.
Oh yeah. It's right around the same level for me.
And what would you be doing with that money if you weren't spending it on that? Just out of curiosity.
Investing.
Cranking.
Cranking hogs.
Yeah, just cranking my hog. I don't know, a million other things probably.
I would invest it, Bob. Like for real. Like I would love to have money in the market right now.
You could do what
I can't.
You could do what Byron Donalds did and buy $500,000 worth of Bitcoin today.
Is that what he did?
Yeah.
No shit.
You know,
it's weird how he sits on the fucking finance committee too. And then he bought that. You're a fucking scumbag.
He's running for governor.
Scumbag.
One thing I think is interesting about the child care market, and I would need to look more into it, but I think this is true, that Americans over the last probably 20, 30 years have been moving states at a higher rate, moving away from their hometowns and stuff at a higher rate.
Probably need more less generational households for sure.
And
less
that's
family in the same town.
Right, and so there's less grandparents and stuff to watch the kids and stuff like that, which has affected the child care market, I think, extremely adversely because I don't think that it has, even though the birth rates are down, I don't think it's expanded or met the need to the level that it needs to be.
Yeah, and
with or without anything else.
Children want to see their grandparents, man. I mean, my kids do.
I went to, I think I started preschool at 3, but like 0, 1, and I don't know about 0, but like 1 and 2 and 3, I was at my grandparents Monday through Friday. Both my parents worked.
Yeah, just hanging out. Same. Especially during the summer. When my parents were
That's what I did
during the summer,
yeah.
I was at my grandma's house farming and shit all the time.
I was at my grandparents' house.
Now, speaking of the housing part, Trump just announced that he's taking $200 billion from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and buying mortgage bonds with it to lessen mortgage rates.
Okay. Now, that would be great, especially if you say that the interest rates aren't going to get cut. But back to the Mamdani thing real quick, Bob, if you can play this clip. The reason why people are skeptical today is in his speech, which, you know, is clipped, is this statement here, because we're literally going through this Somalian daycare bullshit. So play this clip right now, and this is what everybody rolled their eyes over today.
Not only will we make pre-K truly universal, but expand this care to include all 2 and 3-year-olds across the city. As the governor said, we will deliver care by working in partnership with child care providers, especially home-based providers who have been doing this work without thanks or recognition for far too long.
Okay, so the home-based daycare shit is where we got in trouble in the first place with this Somalian shit up in all these fucking states. And I'm with you. Yes, we should solve this issue. I don't mind if it's the other side. I don't really give a fuck who does it. I just want it done. I don't see the home-based daycare thing ever fucking working except to add money to these fucking people's pockets.
I know multiple people who ran very successful, normal home-based daycares.
Home
that's
daycares?
That's a very common
Most
thing.
of the ones that I'm familiar with are home-based.
Yeah,
I have never in my life.
I have a good friend and listener of this show, I think, a lot of times. I don't know if he listens to every episode, but his wife is a teacher.
Okay.
And they cannot stop cranking out kids. And she is back at work now because most of the kids are in like grade school and shit.
All right.
But at the time when they had the first like 2 or 3, she couldn't work because there was just too much. And so she was taking care of them at home. But because she was a trained teacher, Catholic school teacher for most of her career, I think, she just opened a daycare at their house and took care of other people's kids. I think they had like 20 kids there or something like that.
Holy shit, are you kidding?
And I have a good friend from high school who his mom still to this day actually runs a daycare out of her home, has been doing it for like 25 years.
So maybe look, and this could be a fucking age gap thing for real. So forgive me if you're out there and it is successful. I went to kindercare growing up, which is, you know, fucking little red schoolhouse thing that all the other kids went to, and it was kind of a chain around the country, and it was like, all right.
You are the oddity. I think about 90 to 95% of daycare centers are in home.
Really?
Yeah.
And 20 fucking kids inside your house?
The vast majority.
How big does your fucking house have to be?
It's usually not that size, right? Most of them are somewhere between like 3 to 8 kids. And then you have some of the bigger ones, and you could see them driving around town. If you see something that looks like a freshly painted house that has like a playground in the backyard, that's probably a daycare center and not a single family home. Or it does both.
Or both. I might be over-exaggerating the children, but they had like a big basement. The basement was essentially the center for the daycare, and then they had a pretty good-sized backyard too. They go outside, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's the more common option is in home.
Maybe
so
I'm wrong.
so he's trying to make a political point, which is just stupid. But he's not. And to be honest, I doubt he even knows the facts of the case, which is that he's technically correct, but he's just trying to make a political.
Well,
point.
he did run on this, and this is one of the big campaign promises that he made. Obviously, the left is cheering it because it came through. Because it's Kathy Hochul there, by the way, on the right, who also backed this. So this isn't just hyperbole. When the governor backs it, they're going to give the money, and I forget what the dollar amount is that they decided to give. Does it say on there? Was it $1.2 billion or something like that, or $2 billion?
Don't know. Now, I will say a lot of these at-home daycares are a different sort of quote-unquote fraud, but one you guys probably won't disagree with, which is that they're under the table.
Yeah.
Like a lot of parents will just pay cash.
Yeah, why should the government be involved in that? If I want my neighbor lady down the street who used to be a teacher to fucking watch the kids, why do I have to pay the government 20% of that money?
Yeah, I didn't.
Why should she?
Right.
Like, fuck off. No,
right.
Man.
Right.
No, this is bullshit. But to be fair, I don't know that income tax is going to exist after this Trump administration. I think it's going to be gone. And I'm not kidding.
How do you make up for it?
Tariff is one way, but bringing down, look, we've identified. Scott Bessent said this morning, we know for an absolute fact that 10% of the budget's fraud. 10%.
I think it's higher than that.
We think it's 20.
That's what I was going to say.
So when you do the math on that, the total income tax revenue collected is $1.7 trillion. If you're making under like $100,000 a year, you're probably not going to be paying income tax much longer. That's my opinion.
Really? Mm. I think it would take somebody beyond Trump to enforce that, though. You got to get. I don't think 4 years is going to. Somebody else is going to have to see that through.
That would be wildly unpopular to run against. So my guess is whomever runs in 28 will be running on that platform.
But who passes it first is the question.
It doesn't matter.
But no, do you think it's Trump?
I do, yeah. I think it gets passed in this term.
It'd be rad. Mm-hmm. I think all of us would love that for sure.
He's making a lot of really bold moves right now, and all of them have to work for everything to work. So it's like he's buying up MBS's mortgage-backed securities now, $200 billion worth, which is a lot. That'll decrease. So I was wrong about this now. I didn't know this was a thing until like 20 minutes ago. But rates will drop another 0.5 point within the next 3 months now.
Why?
For sure. Because of the security, right? So if you've got $100, how likely are you to loan me 10? But if you've got 1,000, how likely are you to loan me 10?
Oh, they're doing it in 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So if there's now $200 billion in liquid poured into MBSs, into these mortgage securities, then you have a lot less problem loaning to people, which means more housing loans. Technically, the cost of housing might go up a little bit as a result of that because there's going to be more competition. That's just the way it is. The way that you buttress that is by building more houses and kicking illegals out to make more low-income housing available. So it doesn't have to drive the lower-income housing up. It'll probably just be the upper middle income housing that goes up.
Okay.
That's the way it should work, provided they can get people out of these lower-income places. And you could see, especially a lot of people bought houses during the pandemic era with the intent to refinance them and get a better rate.
Yeah.
And you could see like $200, $300, $500 worth of your monthly payments come down by a quick 0.5 point refinance.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like super quick. And a lot of people are going to do that. That also generates a shitload of money for the real estate economy because every single time you make one of those things, the bank fucking has to pay a little bit of money to the mortgage broker and everybody else for doing all the work, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, it gets a lot of money flowing around the security. Yeah, that's it.
Well, speaking of a lot of money, that'll lead us to our last sponsor today. That's AmericanFinancing.net/Drinkin Bros. Interest rates for the last few years have been and continue to be high. That was not intentional, by the way. We just happened to be talking about it. These guys have been on the show for a while. And American Financing can help you out with that. If you're a homeowner out there, you want to take a little bit of equity out of your house, which is at 6%, pay off some of these credit cards where the interest is anywhere from 20 to 30%. Then boom, you could knock that out, and on average, you'll save about $800 a month, as Dan was saying, in just simply interest charges here. Credit card debt has reached an all-time high, and it's trapping Americans. So we're trying to get out of this right now. So if you're a homeowner, this is one way to do it. American Financing is a family-owned mortgage lender that's been around for 25 years, licensed in all 50 states. Mortgage consultants are salary-based, so there's no incentive for them to put you in a loan that doesn't make any sense or is going to fuck you over. They don't charge any upfront or hidden fees to find out how much you can save. You may be able to close in as fast as 10 days. You also may be able to delay up to 2 mortgage payments, creating even more savings up front. They've helped hundreds of thousands of homeowners create meaningful savings, and it's reflected in their reviews on Google. Call today at 866-887-2275. That is 866-887-2275 or AmericanFinancing.net/DrinkinBros. Their Better Business Bureau disclaimer. If you want to look that up, you can go full screen on that. Byron, feel free. Is it NMLS 182334 at NMLSConsumerAccess.org. As always, Bob puts all of these links in the audio and video descriptions. If you don't mind, I want to do that Spencer Pratt story next.
Yeah, go ahead. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, for sure, man, because I love this.
The only other story was Maha. Basically, the government has changed from being afraid of fat and pro-sugar to just being normal.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the short story. And
real foods.
RFK Jr. fired somebody for asking him to do a mask mandate. He fired 4 people. There's 4 people on his staff came to him and said, we need to do a mask mandate because of this flu this year, and he fired them on the spot. That's the update. Move on.
Also, my wife is pretty amped about the vaccine thing that just got passed.
It's what is it, down to 11 now or 26 total?
Yeah, I think he knocked off 6 of them. And it was funny, as when we were watching the news, she goes, press pause. And I go, okay. She goes, I bet you I can name all 6 right now. And she ripped them off. Like, as a mom, she knows.
Let's see, hepatitis A and B.
Yep.
HPV probably is one of
Correct.
them.
At MNRA, MVRA, whatever the fuck it is. She takes the kids to get them vaccinated, but she's always spaced it out, right? Because when it comes down to Europe, I think we're taking like 50 more vaccines than Europeans are for some reason. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But the last story here I love here, which is Spencer Pratt. If you remember him from the OC, was kind of a fucking jackass.
Not the OC.
What was it, Bob?
The Hills.
Oh, the Hills. Sorry. Was the Hills not in Orange County?
The Hills was in L.A.
Isn't it a reality show? The OC was
no, they weren't. They
scripted
weren't in the Hollywood Hills.
No, the OC is scripted television.
Yes, the OC took place in Newport Beach in Orange County. Now, Spencer Pratt was in The Hills, which was a spiritual sequel starring Elsie from Laguna Beach, which was Laguna Beach, the real Orange County.
But those hills there, not the Hollywood Hills.
No, it took place in the. I think it is the Hollywood Hills. It took place in L.A. proper because it was all about Elsie's journey to be like a fashion magazine chick.
Yeah, whatever. Spencer Pratt just received an advance copy of the House Judiciary Committee's reports on the Pacific Palisades Fire aid. If you don't follow him on Twitter, we started to after Street Gonzo was out there because he's been posting nonstop about this. Bob, pull up that picture there in front of the burned building. Scroll down. Yeah. Yep, right there. I don't know who that guy is. But today, I don't know if you saw this, he announced that he was running for mayor of Los Angeles in front of this building because they've done nothing since these fires happened. Now, I'm going to read off the numbers here. Of the $100 million that fire aid raised. And if you don't remember fire aid, it was on the show. I talked about it numerous times. It was the concert that was 4 hours long where they just kept cutting away to rich, hot white women who were in the crowd and not the actual victims here. And people donated money from all over the country, the world. It was on Netflix afterwards and YouTube. So of the $100 million that fire aid raised, $75 million has been lost. Where did that go? What do you think? It was just it ran out of the bag?
I don't know how many Somalians are in L.A.
That's a tough one, dude. I told you, man. I told you this, on Monday's show? You crack open those books from California. You think the fraud is bad in Minnesota?
Yeah, it's game over.
Game over. $100,000 went to voter participation. Why? What the fuck does that have to do with getting your house burned down? $500,000 to political advocacy groups. Again, why? What the fuck does that have to do with your house getting burned down? $100,000 went to podcasters. Well, fuck, dude. We didn't get any of that.
I didn't get mine.
I didn't get mine, motherfucker, dude. Like,
it's upsetting that we didn't get any of that.
Because we probably went too hard against Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom because they fucking suck. And then $500,000 went to bonuses, salaries, and money for consultants for nonprofit organizations, as it always seems to do. He says this is just the tip of the iceberg, and more letters went out today demanding that recipients of fire aid money prove how they spent their funds. $75 million has been lost, but the scam is over. If you want to click up, pop up that link, Bob, in the news on X here. It is our entire country that's being scammed right now, 24/7. It feels like, and it's fucking insane. So yeah, dude, it's weird. It's absolutely fucking weird, man. And he's now running for governor of Los Angeles. So here's who's named as part of that ecosystem.
Wait, governor?
No, I'm sorry, mayor.
Yeah,
mayor of Los Angeles. Forgive me. Yeah. I got ahead of myself. I wish they had a new governor out there.
Well,
forgive me.
We can talk about that too briefly if you want.
Go ahead.
Because right now, the latest polling from Emerson, which is probably lean right, has Bianco in the lead, Hilton in second place. Those are both Republicans.
Yep. Bianco's on the show.
Yeah, and then Steve Hilton is like a British
I know who he is.
reality TV guy. Super sharp. He was just on
Rich.
Yeah, he was just on trigonometry. And then Katie Porter's in there, tied with second. And then I think Swalwell's tied for third.
God, Katie Porter and Swalwell would be awful for that state.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're
Jesus
both incompetent
Christ.
and also pieces of shit as human beings. But the average of polling right now of the top three polls that happened in California, which is Emerson, PPIC, and FM3, has Porter averaged out at around 15, Hilton at 14.7, Swalwell at 14.5, Bianco at 13.3, and then a litany of other dum-dums who, and then I think 33% or something are undecided. Hilton and Bianco both, and some of these other polls are up near 20%. And then Katie Porter sees 20% in a couple as well. So I guess it depends on what you're looking at there. And it'll depend on where the money goes too. I think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Hilton, Bianco as governor, lieutenant governor there as a poll,
I would be surprised.
As a ticket.
Oh, as a ticket? Yeah. Look, I'd be surprised if they won. I would be stunned. I hope it happens. And it has happened in the past, so we'll see. But here's who's part of that ecosystem, who's stealing this money. Obviously, George Soros and the Open Society Foundations, Tides Foundation, Neville Roy Singman, whoever the fuck that is, and his global network.
Yeah.
And then a ton of additional foreign cash here. And then officials just didn't mince words on this. They were like, some of the biggest left-wing funders aren't even U.S. citizens, which we already fucking know. And it gets worse. So I can tell you this from a personal perspective and living there and having some friends out there in the Palisades and all that other shit. Not one fucking building has been restored. Not one yet. And it's been a year. It's been exactly a fucking year. Doesn't seem like that long ago, but it has. And it's because of all the red tape, the bureaucracy, and none of this money going to where it's supposed to go. Nothing has been fixed. So Spencer Pratt, who was a fucking jackass for many years, is from the Palisades, currently lives in the Palisades, lost his home in the Palisades. All he really wants to do is have these communities fixed. And sometimes that's what it takes to change. And there was a lot of fucking people at his rally or whatever you want to call it when he announced running for mayor of Los Angeles. And it was pretty wild to see, to be honest with you. And for the first time ever, it appeared he was nervous on stage, and I don't blame him. This is definitely an arena that he's not in. However, his social media following has skyrocketed because he's been covering this story nonstop almost every single fucking day on social media. And Californians are very, very pissed off about it. So pissed off is in the sense of where's the fucking buildings and where's the money going. So he may have a shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think that other guy should have won the last cycle versus Karen Bass.
Yeah.
The businessman who ran against her.
Yeah.
Who magically lost, 3 weeks later, or whatever the fuck it
Yeah.
was, by 0.2 of a point or something like that.
I don't think Porter or Swalwell can win. This feels a lot like the 2024 presidential, where the Democrats are running two shitty candidates. Because Porter is not a good candidate. There's so much dirt and shit on her, and she's also an asshole. Like, she's on video being just a cunt to everybody all the time. And then Swalwell fucked a Chinese spy. He's kind of a joke in the Democratic Party, you know what I mean?
I agree, but he's still there.
Yeah, but, like, look at how badly Trump beat Harris. You know what I mean? One of the reasons is because people were tired of that shit. But another reason was because they were such bad candidates. I don't think that Porter or Swalwell can win. A statewide election, that would be really surprising to me. That doesn't mean some other Democrat doesn't win or whatever, but that would be surprising to me.
Yeah, Katie Porter is a complete bitch. And if you just do a simple search on Twitter or Google or whatever, like, there's a million videos of her behind the scenes just being an absolute fucking cunt to people. And you're just like, Jesus Christ, lady. Like, that's the last person. Both of them are the last people I'd like to see in there. Who's the guy who's running from the left? That mayor, he seemed pretty sensible for a Democrats. He lost to Karen Bass.
The rich guy?
Yeah. What the fuck was his name, Bob? Fuck. I'm blanking on it. It was a businessman.
Rick Caruso.
That's it, Rick Caruso. So Caruso...
He has not announced yet, but I think he was weighing a run.
He would win easily. In my opinion, after seeing what happened with Karen Bass, that guy would probably win mayor if he decided to run again. Problem was, he spent a lot of his own money on that fucking campaign, and then he got burned. No pun intended there. Like the baby with the bathwater earlier. But, I think that guy could actually fix shit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Beautiful state. Hope they figure it the fuck out. Don't know if they will. Now's the point in the show. We get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week. You can submit on drinkinbros.com. And we also got, look at that, the new merch is up. Look at the Leering Center. Look at the Leering Center t-shirts there. Boom, right in front of your face. Let's go, dude. Got those Drinkin' Bros Leering Center shirts. Talked about the bro box at the top of this. The joggers are some of my favorites, man. I talked about those yesterday. The store is completely stocked up. Ton of new items over there, and you can submit for Drinkin' Bro of the Week. You can also submit on the app. The app is free on iPhones and Androids. Drinkin' Bros app. We pay for it, and we put a wall up like the old school Facebook, so that way you can post whatever you want, videos, all kinds of crazy shit over there. Titty Tuesday's fun. A lot of people are posting about their wives and shit like that. And that's fun for everyone. And then also you can listen to the podcast over there for free. Just click the buttons and you're good to go over there. And it's available on all platforms. And you can also submit for Drinkin' Bro of the Week. This Drinkin' Bro of the Week submission here is actually coming from us. Me and Dan here. So a lot of us have been, or a lot of you guys have been asking us on Drinkin' Bros Sports for the NFL show, which just aired yesterday. Why hasn't Derek Wolfe been back on the show? Now, you had mentioned he'd posted on social media. I wanted to read it my own before we discussed it live on air. He's a friend of ours in real life. And it's not just a dude or a celebrity or anything else. Like, we're actually like genuine homies in real life. So I want to give it to Derek. What people don't know is his mom passed away over the holidays. And he was dealing with that for a few months, kind of knew it was coming and everything else. And afterwards, I believe she passed on the 28th. Wanted to get away and just kind of chill out. Took his family, his wife, and his kids, out of the country and all that other stuff. But I know people want to jump to conclusions on shit, but sometimes there is real life, personal things that are going on, and me personally, and Dan, we didn't feel like it was our place to share it before he wanted to share it, so that's it. That's the real story behind it, and he'll be back whenever he's back. But yeah, we want to give him time to grieve and all that other stuff, and we love him. He's rad, and again, he's a genuine friend in real life. So this isn't just like a random celebrity that we know, for Christ's sake. So we love you, Derek, and thinking about you. Still chat with him all the time, obviously, but yeah, dude, it's, a parent dying is very, very difficult, and until you go through it, you don't know what that's like. And so whatever he needs to do, cool, man. We'll do it, and we don't care. We're always here. Now, for you guys, we appreciate you tuning in and day out. It means a lot to us. Man, the ratings have been at a record this year on the first week of January, which is rare. Usually you're off for like 12 days, and it's like, all right, cool. It takes people time to come back. But like all 3 episodes so far are in the top 100, and the ratings are higher than ever in year 11. So that's all because of you guys. We greatly appreciate the love and support. Go to Spotify, rate the show a 5-star. Then head on over to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. Yes, that is all the advertisers care about, and they base it on that, and that's how we keep the lights on in this fucking place. So that helps. Even if you can't buy a Leering Center shirt, dude, or some fucking joggers or whatever from drinkerbros.com, just leave a free fucking review. It does help, man. It boosts all this shit, and it's got to be natural. Can't hire bots or any of that other shit, or they'll fucking call you huge naturals, dude.
Right now, we're 69th on the iTunes chart.
For yesterday's episode, let's go.
Also, real quick, just
Kick.com.
Well, yes, we are on Kick.com, as the people know, Kick.com /Drinker Bros Studios. We also, this week, have opened up a official Discord server for the Drinker Bros community. Some people have been asking for it, so I went ahead, set one up, got all the
Thank you,
set up
Byron.
for it.
Bunch of different channels. There's a citizen channel there with there's an offensive Substack channel inside of that where we're going to be having some conversations. So if you are a Discord person, jump into that one.
I'll give a link to Bob so you can put it in the description and everything. So if you want to, you can just go ahead, click down there and jump into it. Hey, if you're into that, we made it for you guys. If not, totally fine. You don't have to join us over
No,
there.
if not, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, dude.
Don't give these guys an inch.
I'm being laissez-faire.
No, we don't do that here. We don't do laissez-faire. We fucking threaten people.
Exactly.
constantly.
And as St. James Street Champ says, you give these whores an inch, they want the other 7. So, yeah, fuck off, all right? But thanks for joining us. For D'Anthony Hollaway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night, everyone.